Rappers you didn't know were related. Too rich for regular. In the rap game, we're all brothers and sisters, united by our love for the music. Sure, some rappers may dress the same and have a similar lyrical style, but did you know that some well-known names in the industry are actually related? This is Too Rich for Regular, from rap to the streets and everything in between. But before we get started, if you're here for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button below and join Too Rich for Regular. We're uploading all the time, so don't miss out. We've saved the craziest content for last, so stick around. This is Rappers You Didn't Know Were Related. Dr. Dre and Warren G. Andre Romelle Young, infamously known as Dr. Dre, and G-Funk era rapper Warren G are stepbrothers by marriage. Dre's mother and Warren's father married each other after previously failed relationships, forging a new family with their children from their former spouses. Dr. Dre needs no introduction. He was there for the inception of gangster rap. He and DJ Yella formed part of the world-class Wrecking Crew, an electro music group. The pair would then go on to form part of NWA with Ice Cube, Eazy-E, and MC Ren, the group that pioneered bringing the life of the streets into lyrical content. He went on to release his own solo album, The Chronic, as well as having a long career producing records for a long list of the who's who of the hip-hop and rap world. Warren G was a longtime friend of fellow lyricist Nate Dogg. They formed a group with young Snoop Dogg called 213, named after the area code for downtown California, Los Angeles. He claims that his famous brother actually did very little to help him in the early days, saying he had to be his own man and would have to make a name for himself. With the help of Nate Dogg, he did. In a bizarre twist of fate, Dr. Dre met Snoop Dogg after being introduced by Warren G, causing Snoop to pursue a solo career. Later on, the stepbrothers would link back up to collaborate on the West Coast classic G-Funk era sound, a subgenre of hip-hop characterized by slow, heavy beats. Snoop Dogg and Nate Dogg. As we've mentioned, both Snoop Dogg and Nate Dogg were in 213 together, but the kicker is, they're also cousins. Snoop's father abandoned him and his mother just a few months after his birth. He got his rap name from his family as his mother thought he resembled the dog from Peanuts, Snoopy. As a teenager, he was described as being a good kid and was pretty smart too, getting good grades in school. In his late teens, though, he would fall prey to the street gang lifestyle and would spend time in and out of prison as a young man. He would use music to turn his life around when he teamed up with cousin Nate Dogg and friend Warren G to form 213. Even though Snoop left the group for a solo career, he still kept in contact with his cousin Nate. Nate Dogg would go on to contribute lyrically on 16 different tracks that made the Billboard Hot 100. His feature on 50 Cent's track 21 Questions helped it peak at number 1. Sadly, Nate Dogg would pass away at 41 from a heart attack after suffering multiple strokes. His passing severely affected Snoop Dogg, who not only lost a cousin, but a best friend. Ice Cube and Del the Funky HOMOSAPIAN. Not sure what it is with West Coast rappers and famous family connections, but Ice Cube and Del the Funky HOMOSAPIAN are also cousins. Cube was born and raised in South Central Los Angeles. Life was hard, and as a young man, he had to endure a lot. His half-sister was murdered when he was just 12. He shot to fame when he joined forces with Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, and the gang to form NWA. He wrote most of the lyrics for the group's songs and was also the lead vocalist, easily the most talented rapper in the group. He also co-directed and starred in the hit films Boys in the Hood and Friday early on in his career. Following NWA's breakup, he formed his own record label, The Lynch Mob. Ice Cube had taken exception to being paid a measly $32,000 after he was the ghostwriter for Eazy-E's album, Easy Does It. Del the Funky HOMOSAPIAN had a similar hard upbringing, born and raised in Oakland, California. When he was just 18, he teamed up with his famous cousin on The Lynch Mob to help write for Ice Cube's debut solo album, America's Most Wanted. After paying his dues, Ice Cube helped produce on Del's first studio album, and the rest is history. RZA, GZA, and ODB. You may not know this, but 3 of the founding members of the Wu-Tang Clan are actually cousins from New York. OBD, Russell Tyrone Jones, and the GZA, Gary E. Grice, grew up on Staten Island, while RZA, Robert Fitzgerald Diggs, is from Brooklyn. Between them, the boys lived in New York City projects across every borough. At one point, the RZA was sharing a 2-bedroom apartment with 18 relatives. The 3 formed a group, rapping and DJing in local clubs under the names Force of the Imperial Master and All In Together Now Crew, names that would seemingly change from week to week. They would travel around New York, lyrically battling the best around to sharpen their skills. The trio drank, ate, and slept and breathed hip-hop. The RZA started collaborating with Ghostface Killah, and the two decided to form a hip-hop group whose belief system would be a blend of many influences. This included Eastern philosophy picked up from kung fu movies, 5% Nation teachings learned on the streets of New York, and surprisingly, comic books. When it comes to thought-provoking, street-bred raw lyricism, the Wu-Tang Clan is right up there with the best of the business. Their lyrics portray life in the streets from the street perspective, using intelligent thought and references to theology and scientific theory featuring heavily. The Wu-Tang Clan has released 4 gold and platinum studio albums, and the various members have established solo careers. They are the #1 greatest hip-hop group as voted by Rolling Stone magazine. Russell Simmons and Reverend Run. Russell Simmons is a big name in the hip-hop world. He co-founded the legendary record label Def Jam Records way back in 1984 with Rick Rubin. What you may not know is that he's a brother to Joseph Simmons, better known as Reverend Run. The brothers Simmons were born in New York City's borough of Queens, but they were raised in Maryland. Their father was a public school administrator, and their mother was a park administrator for the New York City Parks and Recreation Department. After graduating from August Martin High School, Russell Simmons briefly attended the City College of New York in Harlem, where he met a young DJ b-boy, Kurt Walker, who influenced him to participate in the hip-hop phenomenon. Upon hearing Eddie Chiba perform in Harlem in 1977, Simmons knew that hip-hop would be his career. Simmons stated, "Hearing Chiba in '77 made me feel like I had just witnessed the invention of the wheel." Rev Run formed 1/3 of Run DMC, widely considered to be one of the most famous and influential acts in the early days of hip-hop. The group pioneered the new school of hip-hop alongside LL Cool J and Public Enemy. Rev, DMC, and Jam Master Jay were the first hip-hop group to ever achieve gold, platinum, and multi-platinum selling records. A family affair, given that brother Russell managed the group and some of these albums were made at Def Jam Records. Q-Tip and Consequence. Q-Tip and Consequence are cousins from New York, raised in Harlem and Queens respectively. Q-Tip rose to fame by co-creating one of the most intelligent artistic rap groups of the 90s, A Tribe Called Quest. They provided a softer alternative to the popular hardcore and gangster rap subgenres at the time. They chose to focus on philosophy, messages, and the social commentary of the day, to tunes reminiscent of the De La Soul jazz rap era. Q-Tip's cousin, Consequence, would feature on a few Tribe Called Quest tracks, as well as collaborating with artists like Kanye West and John Legend. MIGOS. MIGOS is a southern hip-hop trio from Lawrenceville, Georgia. Known mostly for rapping to trap music, the group has ignited global trends like the dab, the head-dropped arm-bent dance. In fact, all 3 members are related, with Quavo and Offset being cousins, joined by Quavo's nephew Takeoff. MIGOS are renowned for their distinctive offbeat triplet rhyming style, which is rapping to a frequency of just 3 beats in a standard 4/4 time signature. This has been copied by Kanye West and Drake, amongst many others. Trap music features heavily on their tracks, the bass-heavy southern variant of hip-hop. The trio were all born and raised in the sleepy suburban town of Lawrenceville, Georgia. They all grew up together. Quavo's father died when he was just 4 years old. Takeoff and Offset's fathers both left when they were young, so Quavo's mother, a hairstylist, often looked after all 3 boys in her small house. The boys all called her Mama. The 3 boys have different personalities. Takeoff loved wrestling and used to practice in a makeshift ring in the backyard. Quavo was obsessed with marine documentaries on the National Geographic Channel, though he was also a star quarterback at Berkma High School. Offset played football too, but his short fuse repeatedly got the better of him. As a result, he ended up at military school. MIGOS dropped their first download-only mixtape, Juge Season, in August 2011. They have released a further 14 mixtapes, as well as 2 studio albums since then. Their strong childhood bond created an understanding between the 3 rappers that fuels a prodigious work rate. They allow each other just 15 to 20 minutes to record a verse, which helps explain the urgency in their sound. They are also renowned for littering their lyrics with pop culture references, everything from Malcolm in the Middle to Hannah Montana, the result of all those hours they spent as teenagers watching TV. You made it to the end. Thanks for stopping by. We hoped you enjoyed today's video. Did you learn something new? Did we leave something out? Let us know. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, subscribe, or both. Let us know in the comments if there's any other crazy topics we can cover in future videos. This has been Rappers That You Didn't Know Were Related, and you're watching Too Rich for Regular. See you next time.